Hello and a very good evening and welcome to the news live on Rupavahini.
Hello, very good evening. I'm Nikki Samadasekaran.
And I'm Faisal Bongso.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa participated in the 2014 Zayed Future Energy Awards Festival held at the Emirates Palace Hotel in the UAE's capital of Abu Dhabi yesterday. The President and heads of states of several countries, along with dignitaries from many countries, participated in the festival. The Zayed Future Energy Awards are being presented to encourage innovation in alternative sustainable energy sources and processes. It has been named after the founder of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. The value of the award is $4 million. The winner is to be selected out of 5 teams entering the awards. The festival was organized this year for the 6th time. The United Arab Emirates, which is a leading oil-producing country, has given prominence for the identification of alternative power resources. Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Pires and a monitoring MP of that ministry, Parliamentarian Sajan Divas Gunawardena, also attended the ceremony. Subsequently, President Mahinda Rajapaksa held discussions with Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who is the Vice President of the United Arab Emirates, the Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai. Sheikh Mohammed has informed the President that he was enlightened about the current situation of Sri Lanka following discussions held with the President. He has also expressed willingness to increase investments of the UAE to Sri Lanka. Sheikh Mohammed has commended the President's activeness and has stated that a conducive atmosphere for investments in Sri Lanka has been created in the post-war period. He has accepted an invitation made by the President to him to visit Sri Lanka and has presented a book of poetry written by him to the President. The President also met his counterpart Ólafur Ragnar Grimsson of Iceland at the Emirates Palace Hotel in Abu Dhabi. Mr. Grimsson told the President that Sri Lanka has achieved a significant progress in the post-war era. The President of Iceland, commending the development process being carried out in Sri Lanka, expressed willingness to establish projects in Sri Lanka in the fishing, meat production, fruit cultivation and agricultural industries. He also proposed to enhance cooperation between the two countries. The President enlightened him about the development process in Sri Lanka and said that Sri Lanka was able to overcome many international challenges. He said that pressure is being exerted by international action, and the monitoring MP of the Ministry of External Affairs, Sajan Divas Gunawardena, also attended this discussion.
And more local news. The President of the Maldives, Abdullah Yameen Gayoom, has arrived on a 3-day official visit to Sri Lanka. This is the first visit to Sri Lanka by him after becoming President of the Maldives. On an invitation of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, President Gayoom arrived in Colombo this morning. Several political party leaders of the Maldives and several ministers accompanied him. He was received at the Katunayake airport by Ministers Professor G.L. Pires and H.M. Fauzi. The Sri Lankan High Commissioner in the Maldives, Dixon Dhala, and the chairman of the Airport and Air Services Company, Prasanna Wickramasuriya, were also present in the airport to receive the Maldivian President. The Maldivian President also signed the visitor's book at the airport. This is President Gayoom's second overseas visit. He made his first visit to India. During his stay in the country, the Maldivian President is scheduled to hold discussions with President Mahinda Rajapaksa and several ministers. A discussion between President Gayoom and Ministers Professor G.L. Pires and H.M. Fauzi was held at the Ministry of External Affairs today. And a meeting between the Maldivian President and Minister Rishad Badruddin was held in Colombo this afternoon. A discussion between Minister Professor G.L. Pires and the Maldivian Foreign Minister, Mrs. Dunya Mamoon, was held in Colombo this afternoon, and the discussion focused attention on strengthening bilateral relations.
Meanwhile, the Maldives has expressed willingness to invest in rapidly developing Sri Lanka in the post-war period. This was stated by the representatives from the Maldives who attended the Sri Lanka-Maldives Business Council held in Colombo today. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce organized the business gathering. Several leading businessmen and business representatives of both countries attended the conference. The Sri Lanka-Maldives Bilateral Business Council was established in the year 2007 with the objective of enhancing business and investment opportunities. Local and foreign representatives said that the Business Council has enhanced relations between businessmen and investors of both countries.
Our investors have increasing new opportunities for investments in Sri Lanka. This will benefit the economies of our both countries. Tourism is one such area for Maldivian entrepreneurs can invest in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is also a good gateway to introduce Maldivian food and other products to the world.
It is very good, and also to understand each other more closely. We feel each other to more closer than before. Of course, it is therefore it is very important. This country also progress a lot, and it is he's a great leader, this country, and I'm sure that where he's our country also is a lot of things he's fulfilling, and also many problems we are sorting out. Always Sri Lanka is very helpful to Maldivian people.
With strengthening of with the new government in power in Maldives, we see a strong investment opportunities between the two countries, and we see a lot of Maldivian investment in Sri Lanka in the hospitality industry as well as in agriculture to supply to Maldives hotels and consumers. We are seeing more Maldivians investing in Sri Lanka, and investment between the two countries expanding to further heights.
And in more news, at home, the government has requested the people to refrain from making deposits in financial institutions with the expectation of higher profits. The government ministers and parliamentarians point out that it is unjust to hold the government responsible when problematic conditions arise. This was stated during the debate on the Sri Lanka Policy Educational Institution Revision Bill, second reading in Parliament today. United National Party parliamentarian Harshadi Silva said there are about 500 people participating with agitation in Dharampalamavata. Who are these people? The parliamentarian said that these people have deposited their funds that were in the EPF or obtained from selling a property, and they are participating in a fast. They have been unable to get even 5 cents from their deposits.
මේ ආයතනයේ කඩා වැටීමට වග කියන්න ඕනේ කවුද කියලා අපි මෙතනින් ප්‍රශ්න අහලා තියෙනවා. සක්විති රණසිංහලාට රැවටිලා
Parliamentarian Shanta Bandara of the United People's Freedom Alliance said that people have learnt lessons from people like Sakviti Ranasinghe, and the rule of the law is being imposed by the courts, and the media has given much publicity to these and still people get misled on these financial institutions. The parliamentarian said that the people are making these mistakes with expectation of higher profits, and it is highly unjust to blame the government for their own follies. And more news at home. A special investigation is being carried out on the death of a student of Ananda College, Colombo, under the instructions of the Minister of Education, Bandula Gunawardena. The police media spokesman, SSP Ajit Rohana, said that a special team of the Maradana police has started investigations. The student, Senator Vijay Singh, studying in the 4th year of Ananda College, Colombo, met with an accident this morning. He was overrun by the hand roller used for leveling the school ground. He was taken to the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital. The director of the hospital, Ratnasiri Hevake, said that the student was dead when he was admitted to the hospital. The principal of Ananda College made a statement to the media about the incident. The principal, Kitsiri Lianagamage, said that he went to the ground around 6:30 a.m. The teacher in charge of sport was also in the grounds at the time. He said that the hand roller was moved to and fro by the student and had met with the accident by getting pressed between the wall and the mover. Minister of Education, Bandula Gunawardena, meanwhile said that a special investigation will be carried out in this connection. The minister said that a separate investigation will be carried out by the Director of National Schools and the Minister of Education about this accident. The student senator, who was 9 years of age, was a resident of the Atharugiri area. His body is to be taken to his grandmother's house in Potuarava in Malawi.
The 2014 national ceremony to provide midday meals to school students was held today at the Vijaya Mahavidyalaya at Panikaramadua in Galimbindunuweva. About 100,000 students from 7,800 selected schools will receive midday meals under the program. Students between grades of 1 to 5 were selected from schools where students displayed marks of less nourishment. 3,250 million rupees have been allocated for this purpose. This program was implemented for several years under the Mahinda Chindaram policy. Accordingly, it was possible to reduce the rate of malnutrition among students to 17%. The program of providing midday meals to students is being carried out with the objective of minimizing malnutrition, encouraging students to consume local foods and to increase their school attendance. The Governor of the North Central Province, Karunaratne Dilgane, Deputy Minister S.E. Muthukumarana and several others attended the function held under the chairmanship of Minister of Educational Services Dumindu Disanayake. The minister speaking at the function said that the program will create awareness about nutrition levels in the country. Minister Dumindu Disanayake stated further that the midday meal and a glass of milk being provided to increase the nutrition level of students is being given to increase nutrition levels and to build healthy, active student population. The minister said that he is happy to be able to implement this program. The program to provide a glass of fresh milk to students of 1,000 schools will start tomorrow from the Mahasen Vidyalaya in Padavia. Schools that are not being provided with midday meals have been selected for this program.
And in other news at home, Minister Anura Priyadarshana said that the statement that had been made by the former army commander Sarath Fonseca is ungrateful. The minister said that it is President Mahinda Rajapaksa who if he did not make him the army commander, he would not be worth even a hair of Prabhakaran. He said that despite objections by many of the army, he was given the post of army commander due to his seniority, and he was provided with all and every weapon that was required to fight the enemy. The minister said that by the statements made by Sarath Fonseca, it is clear that he is ungrateful. Being a former commander of the army, it is utterly ungrateful to make statements to the international community against the political and government leaders of this country.
A group of government and opposition politicians held a joint media conference organized by the Sri Lanka Youth Organizations Network. It was held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute in Colombo today. The media conference has been organized for young representatives of political parties to air their views. The Colombo Central Organizer of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Hirunika Premachandra, said that there are about 99.5% of students studying in small schools who do not enjoy any privileges. She said that it is her expectation to represent these children and to make a long-term plan for their benefit. Meanwhile, UNP parliamentarian Akila Viraj Karivasam said, as per the central bank records, the literacy rate in the country amounts to 92%. However, political literacy of the country is very low and the people should be made intelligent. Meanwhile, Attorney at Law Susara Dinal of the United People's Freedom Alliance said today that the youth of this country are in an educational process targeted to a changing world. He said that a vocational education process should be created in the country and he perceives it as the best method to strengthen youth. Meanwhile, Harshan Rajakarna of the United National Party said that politicians should give the first preference to politics, and the biggest problem faced by voters today is the impossibility to meet their representatives. He said when voters call their representatives, they should not receive the response saying that the member is in shooting and such an injustice should not take place. Meanwhile, Deputy Speaker Chandana Veerakkodi said that the voters should be very careful in selecting their representative, whether it be an artist, a professional or businessman or someone from any other profession. He said that voters should decide to elect youth who have understood the problems of the people to represent the provincial councils.
You're watching the news live on Rupavahini. More news at home. The 2013 report on non-communicable diseases has been released. It has been produced by the Ministry of Health. A function in this connection was held at the Blood Bank Centre at Narayanpeta today. The Ministry of Health declared the year 2013 as the Non-Communicable Diseases Eradication Year. Accordingly, seminars and workshops were held in all districts throughout the country. The people were enlightened about the consequences of smoking, unsuitable food patterns, the importance of taking physical exercises, and many more. Minister Maithripala Sirisena, addressing the function, said that the Health Ministry was able to nearly reach its targets and to reduce smoking by 9%. Certificates were presented to the officials who participated in the Non-Communicable Diseases Prevention Program. Deputy Minister Lalit Dissanayake also attended the function.
"25 more Indian fishermen who violated the maritime boundaries of Sri Lanka have been taken into custody, along with 6 vessels belonging to them. The Indian fishermen have been taken into custody yesterday while they were fishing in the sea areas south of the Delft Islands. Authorities of both countries agreed recently not to violate each other's maritime boundaries and to ensure that their fishermen would not engage in illegal fishing practices. The Sri Lankan Navy says that the group of Indian fishermen was taken into custody because they had violated this agreement. They said that operations against violators will be carried out without interruption.
Meanwhile, the Indian central government has informed the Madras High Court that not a single Tamil Nadu fisherman had been killed by the Sri Lankan Navy since April 2011. The submission has been made in a counter-affidavit filed on behalf of the Union Ministries of External Affairs and Defence in response to a petition seeking to stop the proposed sale of Indian vessels to Sri Lanka. The affidavit has also pointed out that the Sri Lankan Navy has categorically assured that they have been adhering to a no-firing policy on Indian fishermen. The affidavit has also stated that the Indian government has reached a mutual understanding with the Sri Lankan Navy.
Minister Rupavahini meanwhile says that the Sri Lanka Transport Board and private transport operators have agreed to operate their buses under a joint timetable. Accordingly, new proposals have been presented to implement a 60 to 40% timetable. Mr. Rupavahini said that the SLTB and private buses are now operating on a 60 to 40% timetable basis. Everyone is agreeable to this method. He said that some people are saying that the SLTB has no buses to operate on a 40% basis. He said for this, he has proposed to take over additional private sector buses by the SLTB and operate it as a joint operation under the SLTB.
joint venture එකකින් අපි මේක දුවමු. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි
The minister made these comments while attending a workshop held today for the development of the transport network of the Colombo city and its suburbs. The project started 18 months ago under the assistance of the Japan International Cooperation Agency and has now reached policy framework level. The plan has been formulated to suit the commercial economy of the city areas. The survey in this connection was carried out with the participation of about 31,000 families in the Western Province. According to the outcomes of the survey, it has been proposed to establish 2 monorail services from the directions of Malabe and High Level Road. The objective of the proposed project is to minimize air pollution and to reduce the cost of living of the people in urban areas. It has also been proposed that the transport cost of manufacturing goods, which is now in the range of 15 to 25%. Under the eco-friendly transport network, a multi-transport media center will also be established in Colombo, and the project also includes modernization of 7 access roads. All plans are ready to be completed by March.
The one-day cricket series between Sri Lanka and India, which consisted 3 one-day matches, ended in Visakhapatnam today. The Indian team won the match by 7 wickets. The Indian team won the toss and invited the Sri Lankan team to bat first. The Sri Lankan team scored 140 all out in 47.1 overs. Yasoda Mendes scored 56 runs. Chasing a target of 141 runs, the Indian team reached the target in 39.3 overs for the loss of 3 wickets. Smriti Mandana scored 51 runs. The Vavuniya circuit meet ended at the Air Force track. It has been organised for the first time by the Sri Lanka Air Force and the Motorcycle Riders Association. The meet consisted 16 events, and at the end of each event, winners were presented with awards. The Australian cricketer Michelle Johnson received the Allen Border Medal. The 32-year-old Johnson received the medal yesterday in Sydney. This is the first Allen Border Medal received by Johnson.
Well, so along with Charmindi and Nipuni, this is Faisal Bongsu thanking you for being with us. More news for you tomorrow night at the same time. And have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Good night.